Yes, very good afternoon. Is it audible or not? Student, is it audible or not?
Yes, sir, it is audible.
Okay. Okay, can I start? Okay, I will start now. Very good afternoon. Today we will discuss about introduction of entomology or introduction which is related to entomology. So in this class we will discuss about introduction of entomology. So first we want to learn about definition of entomology. So because we are studying entomology, so that's why we want to learn about definition of entomology. So what is meant by entomology? What is meant by entomology? So entomology, which is derived from two Greek words. Entomon means insect, logos means study or discuss or knowledge. It's the branch of science. That's why you can see here the word entomology is derived from two Greek words. Those are entomon, which means, so that's all about entomology definition. Next, what is meant by insect? Okay. Next, what is meant by insect? The word insect, which is derived from Latin word, so which means insectum, so which means to cut into or notched or divided body. So insect, which is derived from Latin word, so which means to cut into. So you can see this picture. So it's an insect. So because you can see here, this region, head region is there. So in this head region, 6 segments is there. So like that only thorax. So in this thorax region, 3 segments is there. So like that only in this abdomen, 7 to 11 abdominal segments is there. So an organism, it was divided into 3 regions or tagmata. So region is nothing but tagmata. So those are head region or head tagmata. Thorax or thorax region or thorax tagmata. So abdomen region or abdomen tagmata. So these region, tagmosis. So study of these region we want to call as tagmosis. You can remember those names. So within these head regions, 6 segments is there. So within thorax, prothorax, mesothorax, and metathorax is there. Okay. Next, abdominal structure. So that's why we want to call as insect, which means any organism which is divided into segments. So within these head, again segments is there. So within these thorax, again segments is there. So that's why we want to call as to cut into a divided body. So that is the meaning of insect. So in case of ICR exams, so they will ask these type of questions. The word entomology is derived from which word? So Greek word. So insect, it is from Latin word. You can remember these 2 names. So next, coming to the entomology. So the field of entomology may be divided into 2 major aspects. So entire entomology, so it was divided into 2 major aspects. Those are fundamental entomology or basic entomology. Fundamental or basic entomology. So first one. Second one, applied or economic entomology. Applied entomology we can also call as economic entomology. So the basic entomology, so it was divided into 2 major aspects. Those are fundamental entomology or economic entomology, fundamental or general entomology, and applied entomology or economic entomology. So first we will discuss about fundamental entomology or basic entomology. Fundamental or basic or general entomology. First we will discuss about fundamental or basic or general entomology. So what is meant by fundamental entomology? So it means basic courses. So fundamental entomology, it can deal with the basic or academic aspects of the science of entomology. So the basic or academic aspects of science of entomology. So it includes morphology, physiology, and taxonomy. So fundamental or basic or general entomology, so it contains morphology, physiology, or taxonomy. So from these topics we can gain the knowledge. From these topics means morphology, physiology, or taxonomy, we can get knowledge. So in this case, we study the subject for gaining knowledge on entomology purpose only. Entomology purpose. So irrespective of it is harmful or helpful, it is useful or harmful, whatever it may be. So from these subjects we can get the knowledge only. So in case of these morphology, so morphology means external characters of an insect. So you can imagine our body, the external characters, hands is there, legs is there, eyes, nose. So these are the external characters which is visible to another person. So like that only insects, external characters of an insect. So you can see these picture also insects, external characters. By seeing we can say head is there, head. So like that only antenna, you can see this is the antenna. And eyes is there, eyes, mouth part. So in case of these thorax regions, legs is there. So these are the legs. And wings is there, which are covered externally. External characters. Morphology means external. It means which is visible to our eyes. So that's related to morphology. So next, physiology. So what is meant by physiology? So physiology, it includes system or anatomy. So anatomy or systems, whatever it may be, physiology only. So physiology, it can cover the digestive system, reproductive system, respiratory system, circulatory system, nervous system, excretory system, embryonic development, and endocrine system. So these all systems will come under these physiology course. So digestive system. So you can imagine our body. So mouth is the foregut, midgut, hindgut is there. So that is related to entomology. Insects, same related to insects. So like that only reproductive for aeration. So with the help of our nose, then we can take the air. So like that only insects, respiratory system, and reproduction. So blood circulation is there, and excretory is also there, excreta. So embryonic development, egg development, okay, and reproductive systems, endocrine systems. So it includes corpora allata, cardiac system, brain, it can secrete some hormones. So these type of systems will come under these physiology questions. So these physiology and morphology is very, very important. So let's move on taxonomy. So taxonomy means science of classification. Taxonomy, science of classification. So it is defined as, taxonomy is defined as placing biological organisms or forms in order. So we want to placing these biological organisms or forms in order. So in order we want to keep, or ordering of a large group of organisms. So these are the definitions. Ordering of a large group of organisms based on certain characters into small groups. So there are different types of groups is there, different types of orders is there. At present, 30 orders is there. In case of these taxonomy, 30 orders is there. 30 orders. So ordering of a large group of organisms based on certain characters. So sometimes based on wings, sometimes based on eyes. So specific characters is there. Based on those characters, we want to divide into small groups. So like that only 30 orders is there. Okay. So these taxonomy only classification is there. Systematic. Systematic means study of kind of diversity of organisms. So study or science of kind and diversity of an organism, systematic. And stages of taxonomy is there, alpha taxonomy, beta taxonomy, and gamma taxonomy, and 30 orders is there. So these subjects will come under taxonomy only. So from these fundamental or general or basic entomology, so in case of ICR examination, so they will ask 15 bits, 15 bits. So for morphology, they will ask 5 bits. Physiology, they will ask 5 bits. Taxonomy, 5 bits. It's a very, very important course. Basic, fundamental morphology. Okay, so we will discuss later about these morphology, physiology, or taxonomy in detail. So let's move on. So you can see we already discussed these points also. So these fundamental entomology, which deals with basic or academic aspects of the science of entomology. So basic or academic aspects of science of entomology. It includes morphology courses, anatomy courses, physiology course, and taxonomy of the insect. Only basic courses. So in this case, we study the subject for gaining knowledge purpose only. So in case of entomology, we will get your knowledge irrespective of whether it is useful or harmful. Useful or harmful. So you can see here external characters. Morphology means external. External means you can see here antenna is there, mouth parts is there, head is there. So by looking outside, you can say morphology. So physiology, you can see here dissection, dissection. So you can see here digestive system, respiratory system. So inside the body. So in case of systems, one procedure is there. But in case of morphology, there is no procedure. Just you want to by heart. So examples is there. But in case of these systems, one proper subject is there. Proper guidance. So step-by-step procedure is there in case of these systems. So in case of taxonomy, you can see here. So grouping of large number of insects. Large group of organisms based on certain characters. So sometimes based on elytra, wings, so certain based on legs, certain based on antenna. So based on those characters, we want to divide into small groups. Okay. So next, second part, applied entomology. It's a very, very important topic in case of ICR examination. So remaining 60 bits, they will ask from these applied entomology portion. Applied means field level. Applied we can also call as economic importance. Applied entomology or economic entomology. So it was divided into 3 types. Those are injurious insects. Next one, beneficial insects. Third one, helpful insects. So among these applied entomology, 3 types is there. Those are injurious insects, beneficial insects, helpful insects. So first, what is meant by applied entomology? What is meant by applied entomology or economic entomology? So it deals with usefulness of the science of entomology. So for the benefit of mankind. But in case of fundamental entomology, so whether it is useful or harmful, so entomology for gaining of knowledge. In case of fundamental, for gaining of knowledge, so whether it is useful or harmful. But in case of these applied entomology, so which is usefulness of the science of entomology for the benefit of mankind. So you can see here injurious insects, which means which cause damage to our cultivated crops. Beneficial, it means they can produce some product. So helpful, so it can helpful to human beings. So like predators, parasites. Okay, so you can see here applied entomology or economic entomology, which deals with usefulness of the science of entomology for the benefit of mankind, which deals with usefulness of the science of entomology for the benefit of mankind purpose only. So these applied entomology, it can cover the study of insects, so which are either beneficial or harmful to human beings. So it can cover the study of insects which are either beneficial or harmful to human beings. So it deals with ways in which beneficial insects, beneficial means it includes predators, parasites, pollinators, or productive insects. Production means they can produce some product, so that is useful to human beings. So it includes honeybees, silkworms, and insects. So these are the beneficial insects. So these applied entomology, so it can also study the methods in which harmful insects or pests it can be managed without causing significant damage or loss to us. So this is the points we already discussed with these points. So next, classification or insects of economic importance. So based on economic importance, insects was divided into three types. Those are injurious insects, helpful insects, or beneficial insects. So first, we will discuss about injurious insects. So injurious insects. So it was again divided into four types. Those were pest of cultivated plants, pest of cultivated plants, storage pest, second one storage pest, third one pest attacking cattle, which is related to veterinary pest. So pest attacking cattle and domestic animals. And fourth one, household and disease carrying insects. Household and disease carrying insects. So pest of cultivated plants, which means crop pest, cultivated plants. So farmers are growing some products or some crops. So pest will attack on those crops. So like that only storage pest. Storage means farmers, they are storing some produce after harvest. So at that time, insects will cause damage to these storage products. So storage pest. So attacking means pest attacking cattle and domestic animals, which is related to veterinary. Next, household disease carrying insects. Household pest like ants, cockroaches. Ants or cockroaches. So disease carrying means malarial diseases or cholera, diarrhea diseases, typhoid, cholera, diarrhea, anopheles, mosquitoes or houseflies. So it can play major role in disease carrying insects. So first we will discuss about pest of cultivated plants. Pest of cultivated plants. So you can see here. So what is meant by pest of cultivated plants? So insects which will cause damage to cultivated crops, we want to call as crop pest. Insects which will cause damage to cultivated plants, so we want to call as crop pest. So each cultivated plant, so which can favorable for many insect pests, so which feed on them and reduce the yield of the crop. So just introduction class. So I am telling about entire entomology. So pest of cultivated plant, crop pest. So which means each cultivated plant in case of field crops is the rice, field crops. So horticulture crops, mango, banana, sapota, horticulture. And vegetable crops is also there. So some vegetable crops. So like that only plantation crops or ornamental crops. So these are the field crops, or horticulture crops, or vegetable crops, plantation crops, or ornamental crops. So whatever it may be, insects, some insects, they will cause damage to these conditions, these fields. So that's why we want to call as a crop pest. Field crops or horticulture crops, vegetable crops or plantation crops, or ornamental crops. So an insect is considered as a minor pest. So if it causes loss between 5 to 10%, then we want to call as a minor pest. So any insect, so which is considered as a minor pest, if it is causing loss between 5 to 10%. So if it is more than 10%, so any insect which is considered as a major pest, if it causes more than 10%. So in between 5 to 10%, we want to call as minor pest. So more than 10%, we want to call as a major pest. So next, phagus, based on phagosity or phagus, monophagus, oligophagus, polyphagus is there. So what is meant by monophagus? So in case of these pest courses only, so these terms are related. These terms are related. Monophagus, so means yellow stem borer, rice yellow stem borer, which is monophagus. So monophagus in the sense, phytophagous insects means insects which will feed on plants only. So that's why we want to call as phytophagous. So these phytophagous insects feeding on plants are within one genera only one genera, within one genera, closely related species. So that is called as monophagus. So oligophagus in the sense, phytophagous insects feeding on plants Plants of several genera within the family. So within the family, several genera is there. So that is called as oligophagus. So next, polyphagus. So phytophagous means feeding on plants of several families in various orders. So several families means polyphagus. So within genera monophagous. So within family oligophagus, or polyphagus means various families. So these are the terms which are related to these crop pests. Okay. Next one, storage pest. Storage pest. So stored products means after harvesting of crops, any crops, farmers they will store produce under field, under home conditions only they will store these produce. So at that time, these insects, some insects they will spoil those produce. For example, rice weevil. So there are two types of pests: is there primary pest and secondary pest, or external pest or internal pest. Primary pest or external pest, or secondary pest or internal pest. So insects which will feed on stored products and cause economic loss. So that is called as storage pest. So economic loss means ultimately they will spoil the produce. So here contain two types, primary pest and secondary pest. So insects that damage bold grains or sound grains, that is called as primary pest. Some insects they will damage bold grains, so that's why we want to call as primary pest. Primary pest. So example, rice weevil, Cytophilus rice, lesser grain borer, and pulse beetles, cigarette beetles, sanguineous grain moth. So these are different types of insects there. But it's an introduction class. Just you can remember two or three examples. Rice weevil, lesser grain borer, pulse beetles. So it's a primary pest. So next, secondary pest is there. Secondary pest. What is when the secondary pest? So insects that feed on stored products already damaged by primary pest, or that feeds on finished product. It means the floor are already damaged by primary pest. So bold grains are starting, big grains means primary pest. So these are already damaged by primary pest. We want to call as secondary pest. The name itself indicating the answer, secondary pest. So examples, red floor moth. So florum. So floor in the sense, so after grinding, we can get floor. So these insects will feed on those floor only. So red floor beetle, rice moth, Porphyra cephalonica, rice moth, and Indian meal moth, Plodia interpunctata. So these are the examples comes under secondary pest. Secondary pest. Okay. So that's all about storage pest. Let's move on third one. So pests which attack cattle and domestic animals. So which are related to veterinary part. But in case of ICR examination, they will ask you some bits on it. Very small topic. So these cattle which are affected by pests like horsefly. So you can see these pictures. So this is the horsefly. And some of flesh flies is there. Flesh fly. So it can feed on flesh of. And fleas is there. Fleas and lice is there. So fleas and lice. So in case of these lice, they will suck sap. And here you can see here horsefly. They will also suck sap and suck blood. In case of human beings also, it will cause damage. So they suck blood and sometimes eat the flesh of skin of animals or humans, whatever it may be. So pest attacking cattle and domestic animals. Next, fourth one, household and disease carrying insects. Household and disease carrying insects. So it means house. So in case of everyone having house, so at that time also some insects they will cause damage. So these household pests, so it includes cockroaches, ants, silverfish, cockroaches, ants. So there are different types of household pests instead. So some disease carrying insects is also there, like mosquitoes, houseflies, bedbugs, and fleas. So you can see these here. You can see these matters. So in case of silverfish, so this is the silverfish. So these pests which cause damage to belongings of human beings like furniture, wool or paper. So in case of library conditions, so there we can find these silverfish. So they will feed on papers. So the pests which cause damage to, so which are belongs to human beings like furniture, wool, paper, silverfish. So next, disease carrying or painful. The pest which cause painful bite. So it can inject a venom. So like hairy caterpillar, honey bees, wasps. So they can sting the host. So host in the sense whatever it may be, insect or human beings or animals. So they will sting and it can bite. Very painful bite is there. Very painful bite because they will inject some toxin. So pest which cause painful bite. Next, third one, disease carrying organism like mosquitoes. It can transmit malaria. Mosquitoes, it can transmit malaria or filariasis. So again, these mosquitoes, three types of mosquitoes is there: Anopheles, Aedes, and Culex. So Anopheles means it can transmit malaria. Anopheles, it can transmit malaria. So like that only, Culex is there, it can transmit filariasis or ochraria. Filariasis. So next, so dengue fever. So these are transmitted by Aedes. So next, houseflies. It can transmit typhoid, cholera. So it can transmit, not caused by. So just it can act as vector. So it can act as vectors. So houseflies, they will cause or they can transmit typhoid, cholera. So that's why we want to clean our surroundings. We want to keep clean surroundings. So next, second aspect. First over, injuries insects over. So next, second topic, so beneficial insects. Beneficial insects. So what is meant by beneficial? Beneficial means which are useful to human beings. So beneficial insects again divided into four types. Those are productive insects. Productive insects are insects useful as food or ornamental purpose. Some insects which are useful as food purpose or ornamental purpose. So some insects which are used as medicinal purpose. So some insects which are used as scientific research purpose. So first we will discuss about productive insects. What is meant by productive insect? So you can see here, productive insects, which means it includes honeybees, silkworms, and lac insects. Production means they can produce some product, so which are useful to human beings. So that's why we want to call it a productive insect. So in case of silkworms, you can see here, rearing of silkworms we want to call as sericulture. And growing of mulberry we want to call as moriculture. And growing of other than mulberry plants we want to call as arboriculture. So different types of farms which are related to these silkworms. Like that only honeybees. So rearing of honeybees we want to call as apiculture. So there are different types of species. So Indian bees, Italian bees, or American, European bees, Italian or European, whatever it may be. And rock bee is there, little bee is there, dammer bee is there. So there are different types of species. Okay. So lac insect. So lac insects is also. So these are all under productive insects. These are all comes under productive insects because they can produce some product. So that's why which are useful to human beings. So that's why we want to call as productive insects. So in case of silkworms, they can secrete silk. So with the help of salivary gland. So the silkworm filament secreted from the salivary gland of the larva, so which helps in production of silkworm. So in case of honeybees, honeybees provides honey and many other byproducts like beeswax, royal jelly, and medicine is also there. For medicinal purpose, they can produce venom. So like that only lac insects. The secretion from the body of these scale insects is called as a lac. They can secrete lac. So it is useful in making varnishes or polishes. Okay, next, second point. Insects which are useful as food and ornamental purpose. So food. So in case of China, so they will eat some of the insects like grasshoppers. Grasshoppers they will feed. So for animals, aquatic insects which are used as fish food. So grasshoppers, termites, and pupa of the moth. So they will feed on those insects like grasshoppers, termites, or pupa of the moth. Even termites in Andhra Pradesh, some people are eating these termites nowadays also. So they have been used as the food by human beings in different parts of the world. So mostly in case of China, they will feed these type of foods. So next, artists and designers copy color of the butterflies. Beautiful. It means it is the sign. Artists or designers, they will copy the color of the butterflies. So like paintings, so they will make paintings on walls by seeing of these butterflies because it's beautiful to the nature. So there are nature gifts to human beings. So the beetles, worms are necklaces. So some beetles which are used as necklace purpose. And insect collection, which is an hobby sometimes. So insect collection, it is an hobby of some of the members. So that's why insects which are useful as food purpose as well as ornament purpose. So next, so insects useful as medicinal purpose. Third point, insects which are useful as medicinal purpose. So in case of honeybees, they can secrete venom. They can secrete venom. So with the help of stinging. So stinging of honeybees, so it can sacrifice their life. So that concept we want to call as altruism. Altruism. So sacrificing of their life, that is called as altruism. So the stinging of honeybees, it means a remedy for rheumatism as well as arthritis. So some medicines like, so it is sting of honeybees is the remedy for rheumatism and as well as arthritis. And cantharidin, so like blister beetle, extracted from the blister beetle, cantharidin. So it can useful as hair tonic, hair black color, hair tonic texture. So these are the products useful as medicinal purpose. Next, fourth one, scientific research purpose. Scientific research. So well-known example, Drosophila. Well-known example, Drosophila and mosquitoes, which are useful in genetic and toxicology study. So mostly genetic purpose, these Drosophila. So toxicological purpose, mosquitoes. Toxicology, in the sense another course is the toxicology. So these mosquitoes, which is used in bioassay insecticide residues. Mosquitoes, bioassay. It was the term bioassay was coined by Finney. So there are different types of bioassay techniques. So in case of toxicology topics, at that time we will discuss about these bioassay techniques, mosquitoes, which are used in bioassay of insecticide residues. So next, third one, helpful insects. Helpful means which are helpful to human beings. So again, it was divided into 6 types. Those are parasites, predators, scavengers, pollinators, weed killers, soil builders. Parasites is there, predators is there, scavengers is there, pollinators is there, weed killers is there, soil builders is there. So first we will discuss about parasites. What is meant by parasite? So parasite means very small insects, so which feed and live on harmful insects by completing their life cycle. So insect pest, so which is harmful to human beings because they will feed on crops. So that's why we want to call as harmful insects. So these parasites, they will feed on these harmful insects for completion of their life cycle. So in the host and kill the host insect. So there are different types of parasites. Egg parasite. So it means you can see these pictures. So egg is there and adult is there. It means egg parasite. Egg parasite. So like that only larval parasite is there. You can see here. So larva. So this is the hawk moth. So larval parasite. So these are the pupas of parasite. So these are the pupas of parasite. So like that only pupal parasite is there. Pupal parasite. So these adults, so these egg parasite means these adults, this is the parasite. She will lay eggs on another egg. So another egg of harmful insect like crop pest. She will lay eggs on another insect of egg. So that egg related to crop pest. So that's why we want to call it egg parasite. So which are very active in habits. These parasites are very active in habits. So habitat is an independent of that of the its prey. So life cycle is very long. And attack on the prey is casual and not well planned also. So sizes, so it can seize and devour the prey rapidly. The single predatory may attack several hosts in the short period. I mean single parasite. So it can attack several hosts in the short period. So these are the characters which are related to predators, not to parasites. So parasites means usually sluggish. Parasites means which are very sluggish and the host is secured only. So the parasite usually completes the development in the single host only. But in case of predator, it can attack on several hosts. But parasite, it will attack on only one host only. So planning is more evident in case of parasite. And predators, life cycle long in case of predators. But in case of parasites, life cycle is very short. So you can see here predators, we already discussed some points which are related to predators. So these are the large insects when compared to prey, so which are large insects when compared to host, so which capture and devour the harmful insects. So some of the predators like praying mantids, coccinellids. So these are the some examples, predators, so which will feed on another living organism. So parasite means they will complete entire life cycle on one host. But in case of these predators, for completion of these life cycles, they need more number of hosts for completion of life cycle. But in case of parasite, only one host is enough for completion of life cycle. But in case of predators, there are so many hosts is necessary. So here life cycle is long when compared to parasites. Life cycle is long and very active. So because prey is moving in condition, at that time predator will be very active for catching up those prey. Examples, overflies. So these are the examples, overflies, coccinellids, praying mantids. So next is scavengers. Scavengers. So scavengers means insects which feed on dead and decaying matter. We want to call as scavengers. So these are the scavengers. So they are important for maintaining hygiene in the surroundings. So without these scavengers, our universe will not be there. Will not be there. So because of these scavengers, our surroundings are very clean. Because they will feed on dead and decaying matter. So examples, carrion beetles. You can see this is the carrion beetles and row beetles is there. So these are the row beetles. They will feed on dead of animals or plants. So decaying matter. So that's why we want to call as scavengers. These scavengers, they will play main crucial role in our environment. So next one, pollinators. Next one, pollinators. So these pollinators, with the help of these pollinators, farmers' yield will be increased because yield they can produce more yield because of pollination, mostly in cross-pollinated plants, so which depend on insects only, insect purpose. So mostly 90% of pollination are carried by those insects only. So among those insects, honeybees, it will play 70% of pollination. 70% of pollination is carried by honeybees only. So for fruit set, we know that cross-pollinated means they need pollen from another flower. So these insects, they will carry those pollens from one flower to another pollen. So many cross-pollinated plants, which will depend on insects for pollination and fruit set. The examples, honeybees is there. If honeybee pollinate the sunflower crop, then we want to call as melitophily. Melitophilium. So these are the beneficial insects. It includes pollinators. So honeybees, it can pollinate the sunflower crop. If honeybee can pollinate the sunflower crop, then we want to call as melitophily. So like that only hawk moth. So if hawk moth pollinate the crops, then we want to call as spingophily. So hawk moth is Pingidae family, so that's why we want to call as spingophily. So like that only small moth, some medium moth or small moth, helenophily. Some syrphid flies is there, myophily, and butterflies. If butterflies pollinate the crop, then we want to call as psychophily. And if beetles, it can pollinate the crop, then we want to call as cantharophily. If ants will pollinate the crop, then we want to call as myrmecophily. Which are the terms which are related to, so these are the some terms which are related to pollinators. So melitophily means honeybees. So like that only myophily means syrphid flies, psychophily means butterflies, beetles means cantharophily, myrmecophily means ants. So these are the some terms which are related to pollinators. So next, like that only weed killers, which means which will feed on weeds. So what is meant by weed? Weed means unwanted plant. Whatever it will be grow. That is called as unwanted plant. So if you are cultivating rice crop, then wheat crop will grow. Then that is also weed. Okay, which is unnecessary. That is called as weeds only. So insects which will feed on weeds, then we want to call as weed killers. So kill them, thereby the killers only. So Parthenium, best known examples, Parthenium or Congress grass. So Parthenium, it was controlled by Zygogramma bicolorata. You can see here Zygogramma bicolorata beetle or Parthenium beetle. Like that only another examples, cochineal insects which will feed on Opentia delinae. So these are the scale insects, cochineal scale insect which will feed on Opentia delinae. So these are some examples. There are so many weed killers is there. So in case of future, we will discuss it in detail. So next is soil builders. Last one, soil builders. So soil builders means soil insects such as ants, beetles, larvae of cutworms, crickets, columbolans make tunnels in the soil. So if any insect which is making tunnels in the soil, then we want to call a soil builder. Building, soil building. They can construct home in the soil only. So it can facilitate the aeration in soil. So with the help of these insects, so soil will get the aeration. So they become good manures after death and enrich in the soil. So that's why I want to call as soil builders. So scavengers is different, soil builders is different. Okay. So that's all about today's lecture because it's an introduction class. So that's why I'm telling about a brief introduction of entomology. So from next class onwards, we will tell about history, morphology, or taxonomy, or ecology, toxicology. So some subjects which are related to entomology. So from next class onwards, we will start with history. So if you have any doubt, you can ask now. Is it audible or not? If you have any doubt, you can ask now. The topic is open for discussion. Please respond. Please respond. Is it audible or not?
Audible, sir.
Audible, sir.
Yes, if you have any doubt, you can ask now. So regarding of entomology. Okay, again we will meet on Wednesday. So in that class, I will tell about history, which is related to entomology. So from history, so they will ask 2 bits. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.